You don't need a title to make people listen, and you don't need authority to make an impact. Welcome back to another episode of Mindset Shift. Today, we're exploring something powerful, something that every professional needs to understand, no matter their title or position: the ability to inspire others. You don't need to sit at the head of the table to create change. You don't need a title to make people listen, and you don't need authority to make an impact. Because leadership isn't about hierarchy, it's about influence. You can inspire your team, even if you're not the boss, by the way you show up, the energy you bring, and the consistency you live with. So today, we're going to talk about how to be that person, the person who uplifts others, the one people look to for calm when things feel uncertain, the one who quietly leads through action, not instruction. Let's start with a mindset shift. Leadership isn't a position, it's a posture. It's not about giving orders, it's about setting an example. It's not about being in charge, it's about taking responsibility. It's about the influence you carry through your integrity, not your title. People follow those who earn respect, not those who simply demand it. So if you're thinking, I'm not in charge of anyone, how can I inspire others? Here's the truth. You can lead from wherever you are, because leadership is energy, not authority. And people feel it. They feel it in your consistency. They feel it in your confidence. They feel it in how you handle challenges. That's where real influence begins. 2, be the energy you want to see. Every workplace has energy. Sometimes it's tense, sometimes it's motivated, sometimes it's uncertain. But in every team, there's always one person who shifts the atmosphere, the one who sets the tone. You can be that person. You don't have to be the loudest or most charismatic. You just have to be intentional. Inspiring others begins with how you carry yourself. Your attitude can lift the room or lower it. So start your day with awareness. What energy am I bringing into this space today? If you want positivity, bring it. If you want focus, embody it. If you want collaboration, model it. Action step. Take 5 seconds before every meeting or conversation to reset your energy. Ask yourself, how do I want people to feel after this interaction? Because the way you make people feel often matters more than the words you say. 3, lead through your work ethic. One of the most powerful ways to inspire your team is through consistency. Show up, do the work, keep your standards high. Even when no one's watching, people pay attention to the quiet professionals who keep delivering quality with humility. That consistency builds trust, and trust builds influence. Leadership through example is contagious. When others see you showing up on time, staying prepared, and owning your work, it sets a silent standard. Action step. Identify one area in your daily work where you can increase your consistency. Maybe it's preparation before meetings. Maybe it's follow through on commitments. Whatever it is, make it visible through action, because credibility is earned in the moments when no one's applauding. 4, communicate with intent, not authority. You don't need a title to communicate like a leader. In fact, the best communicators don't command, they connect. They listen deeply, they speak clearly, and they create space for others to contribute. When you communicate with empathy and intention, people listen, not because they have to, but because they want to. Leadership communication is less about talking and more about understanding. Action step. In your next team discussion, shift from telling to asking. Use questions that invite engagement. What do you think would work best here? How can we make this better together? People feel valued when their opinions are sought. And when people feel valued, they give their best. 5, empower, don't compete. The easiest way to inspire others, celebrate them. When you recognize others' contributions, you create an environment of trust and belonging. When you share credit, you build community. When you support instead of compete, everyone wins. True leaders elevate others, not to make themselves look better, but to make the team stronger. This week, acknowledge one person publicly for their effort, no matter how small. Say, I really appreciated the way you handled that, or your input made this project better. Those small words create loyalty, because inspiration isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet thank you that reminds someone their work matters. 6, stay calm in the chaos. When things go wrong, and they will, that's when your influence is tested. Anyone can stay composed when things are going well, but the person who stays steady during uncertainty, that's the person people look to. Calm isn't weakness, it's strength under control. It says, we'll figure this out. It builds confidence in the team. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to create stability through clarity, optimism, and composure. When you feel stress rising, pause before reacting. Take one deep breath, then ask yourself, what's the most helpful response right now? That pause, that moment of reflection, is what separates reactive from responsible. 7. Share vision, not just tasks. People don't get inspired by checklists. They get inspired by purpose. Even if you're not the one setting company goals, you can still remind others of why their work matters. When you connect daily tasks to a larger vision, motivation rises naturally. Instead of saying, we need to finish this report, try, this report helps us show the real impact of what we're doing. In every project or meeting, take a moment to connect the what to the why. Remind your team or your peers how their efforts make a difference. People give more when they understand why it matters. 8. Be authentic. Inspiration doesn't come from perfection. It comes from authenticity. People connect to those who are real, not those who pretend to have it all figured out. When you admit challenges, when you show humility, when you're transparent, people trust you more. Authenticity builds emotional safety, and emotional safety builds high-performing teams. In your next discussion or project, share something honest about the process, a challenge, a lesson, or a moment of uncertainty. When you show vulnerability, you invite connection. 9. Keep growing and let people see it. Inspiration isn't static, it grows as you grow. When people see you actively learning, adapting, and improving, they're reminded that progress is possible for them too. Share what you're learning. Mention a book, a podcast, or a reflection that's shaping you. When you learn publicly, you give others permission to grow privately. And that's how you quietly lead transformation. 10. The heart of influence. Here's the truth. You don't need to be the boss to be a leader. You don't need authority to have impact. You inspire by example. You influence through consistency. You lead through empathy. People remember how you made them feel, inspired, understood, valued. So whether you're new to the team or years into your role, your ability to inspire starts the moment you decide to lead yourself well. Be the calm in the chaos. Be the spark when motivation fades. Be the reminder that integrity, kindness, and consistency still matter. That's leadership without the title. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Mindset Shift. Remember, leadership isn't about power, it's about purpose. You can make an impact from wherever you stand. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Share this episode with someone who's learning to lead by example, and remind them you don't have to be the boss to be the influence. Until next time, lead with intention, act with integrity, and inspire through who you are.